welcome back to another episode of Thriving in Chaos. I am your host, Rebel Phoenix, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Stella Rune.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you, and I just spent all weekend with you.
I know. I know it feels like it's been a while,
I
but it
know, but
hasn't.
I know. It's weird. Time is flying so fast. I
Yeah,
feel like
that
I
was one of those.
blinked.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like I
gone.
blinked and it's gone. Like, we're
Yeah.
already almost to September.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? And last weekend filming was just like it was so much fun, but it was so fast.
For anyone who's been living under a rock, we filmed a movie called Dasher Slasher this past weekend.
The short,
Great
not the
group of
feature.
people. It's our short, but it's leading into some feature length sequels. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for those because we're in those too.
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah.
They're
And
gonna be amazing.
yeah, they are. And we have some really great people attached to our project, including Bob Myers, who
Yep. Who you
produced
saw on
things
here?
like Captain America. He produced some
Winter
of the Fast
Soldier.
and Furious. He produced a lot of the Nightmare on
Hmm.
Elm Street series, Jurassic Park. He's been in so many big name things. So we're
Yeah.
really grateful to have him. We also
Yeah.
have Samantha Goldberg, host of the Red Carpet. She's joining us also as an executive producer and an actress. She will also be acting in the movie, from what I've been told. Bob
She's
is
so sweet too.
producing. We also have the legendary Felissa Rose. Oh, I can't
Yeah,
pretend
that's
I'm not
so
excited for that
exciting.
one. I
Oh my gosh.
literally wore her on my wedding day, and I'm
They
gonna
made that
work with
announcement
her.
and I was like, I don't know if you saw it in the chat. I was like, Rebel, Rebel, Rebel.
Oh yeah.
I must have tagged you like 3 times.
I've been over here cheesing the whole time, like, oh, is it time to film yet? Where's the script? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's go. I
A friend of mine
volunteer as
saw the
tribute.
announcement and sent me a text and was like, oh my God, do you get to film with Felissa Rose? And I was like, I don't know yet. I don't know if we're going to be on set at the same time. I don't know if we're going to be in the same scenes, but
Oh, I for sure begged
so
Heidi
exciting.
and Devlin to put me in a scene with her. I'm not even shy about it. I told him, I was like, please let me work with her and I can die happy. Just saying. So
Well,
here,
that's going to be
fingers
awesome.
crossed. Speaking
Hopefully.
of filming, though, I'm actually going to be there in person. Stella's doing a voice role, but we'll be filming Boredom and Bloodshed as well with the Kaimanos
Absolutely.
finally next weekend. We've been talking about it for months now, so definitely got to hype that up because still got the perks coming. Check them out. Check out
I'm
Boredom and
so excited.
Bloodshed. Mary Kate Horror Hound Bites. Lots going on
Hmm.
there. The Ghost Prof is in that one. I'm
Yep.
producing both, so check them out.
I'm not involved yet, but I'm thinking about it. He did it. He did actually ask me if I was going to do that, and I was like, I don't know yet. We'll see how
Yeah,
this
I'm
first one
I'm
goes.
actually producing Mary Kate's Horror Hound Bites and Boredom and Bloodshed. I'm an EP on currently, and I'm acting. So definitely check it out because we got a trifecta going on here.
Lots of fun stuff coming in down the line.
Yes, and we've got even more movies coming up later this year, along with a bunch of conventions
Hmm.
in various places.
Oh, don't forget about Lights
Starting,
Out.
oh yeah, Lights Out
Yeah.
is coming up with Tyrell.
Yep.
Um, but we have the main Paracon coming up first.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
And then I think Lights Out films, and then we start like the entire like run of the conventions
yep.
because we have a lot of conventions coming up. So you'll
And
see
then
as
we're
many
pretty
episodes coming
much
from us.
conventions from the end of September straight through till November. So yeah, definitely
Yep.
come check us out and see us. We got plenty of merch for sale, guys. If you
Absolutely.
can name it, we probably got some kind of it somewhere.
Yep. Yep.
So definitely come check it out.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
It is. It
So
is.
much
And
good stuff
speaking of
coming.
exciting, now we get to bring our party out of the back.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a paranormal party today, guys. So brace yourselves for our first repeat victim, guest, Mr. Chris McKinnell.
Hey,
Hey, hey.
ladies.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, hey.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. If I'm going to be victimized by anyone, it should be by both of you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Thanks. Spread that around, would you? There's plenty of victims waiting to happen. Just saying.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got.
you're pretty much advertising it with your movie choices here.
I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. We do have one later in the year that's not a horror movie.
Actually,
Oh,
the
the Lights Out's
next
not a horror
two.
movie either. Yeah.
Lights Out's not horror, and neither is Extortion Thugs.
Right.
That one's more of a mafia movie, so it still fits the character.
Maybe that's not much better.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're still killing somebody, just differently.
I'm more worried. I'm more worried about human beings than I am about anything in the paranormal world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the paranormal world and the lovely human beings in it, we got a lot to talk about, right, buddy?
Indeed, yeah, it's been a crazy few months.
Yeah, it's been interesting. A lot has happened since the last time we had a chance to talk to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to start with Dan Rivera and go from there?
Yeah. It's not fair. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, he's the man that was responsible for moving Annabelle around.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair for me, nor would it be right for me to say, yes, Annabelle killed this poor man. We can't ever really know, can we? But here's what I can say for certain. During the exorcism of Maurice Theriault, I was there with my grandparents. I was the guy protecting the bishop during the exorcism. And right at the very beginning of it, my grandfather was complaining that he didn't feel well. And my grandmother thought he needed a banana. And it turned out he was having a heart attack because of the exorcism. I have had the brakes go out on my car immediately after I saved a family. I've had the gas turn on my stove 3 nights in a row without the flame because I was about to work on a case. One night I was arranging an exorcism for a woman in Tennessee. And at 2:00 in the morning, both my TV and my computer blew up. I was like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that can happen. It can be very dangerous. I've had 2 people die. So did Annabelle kill Dan Rivera? I can't say that for certain. But what I can honestly say, people who don't know what they're doing shouldn't be messing with the paranormal. A month or 2 before that tragedy, I warned people that Nesper had no idea how to deal with that doll. They didn't know what they were doing with Annabelle. They were using oven mitts or garden gloves to move it, which I noticed Tony Sparrow never actually moves it. He has someone else do it. He's not that, ignorant of how dangerous this thing is. What bothers me, though, is he talks about it being deadly, and then he stacks liquor up around it and says, make sure you get this liquor blessed before you drink it. It could be cursed. And then when a tragedy actually happens, of course it wasn't Annabelle. You can't have it both ways. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You either treat this with the respect that it deserves, or you shouldn't be doing this at all. For me, my grandparents' museum, and granted, I understand that wasn't actually sold, but it is leased to Matt Rife and a man named Elton something or other. Honestly, I didn't even know either of these men existed until last week or the week before. But they are in control of it for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched the TikTok videos and the YouTube videos of people going in, trying to communicate with these things. And like, oh, Annabelle, is there anything we can do for you? It's like, there are no good energies in that museum.
Right.
That is the Chernobyl of the paranormal world. And anybody who's going to go in there is putting themselves and their family and loved ones at risk. That's the reality, because it's not always you that keeps that attachment. When you open that door, it's going after the most vulnerable person in the household, and that could be your child.
Mm-hmm.
the number of cases. I mean, the David Glotzel case, which is the Arnie Johnson case from Conjuring 3.
Yep.
You know, he didn't play with the Ouija board. His mother and his sister did. But he's the one that came under attack. Now, that's the reality of the situation. And I'm here out of a sense of responsibility. It's cost me my family. My family did not want me speaking out against Annabelle. They tried to bribe me to shut up. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to help people. And I will not do that. Yeah. I don't make money doing this. I mean, granted, yeah, I do one Zoom presentation a month, you know, to pay my rent. But in my entire career, 44 years of doing this, I've made less than $10,000 on the paranormal, and not one penny of it was ever from helping anyone. That I do for free, 14 hours a day.
Yeah. It's really sad, I think. It almost feels, I know I don't know the ins and outs of everything, the lease and all of that. It feels almost like it's being exploited.
Oh, yeah.
The the video that I know we had shared, Rebel and I have a group chat with some other friends. The video that was shared there, the way that it was phrased was that it was almost like an Airbnb, and they were going to have people come in and stay at the Warren house
Yep.
and in the museum. And to me, that doesn't feel right, because everything that
Literally
I
goes against everything they stood for.
Yes, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
for God's sake, it was never a public museum, not once.
Yeah.
I keep reading online, oh, well, the Warrens didn't. No, they didn't. They
Right.
locked that away. People were
Right.
allowed to go in very small groups or individuals, and they were definitely given instructions: do not touch anything, do not challenge anything. And now I'm going to teach you. That was the whole point of it. But
Right.
when Tony took over, he's never worked on a case in his life. If he has, he only started in 2020, because I knew him from 1980 to 2020. Not once did he ever go on a case. He uses my cases as though he were actually there. And that's crazy to me. You know, he's going to be in his character is going to be in the next Conjuring movie. And he wasn't there. My mother was 40 friggin' years old when that case came out. You know, I was in my final year of college. I was levitated over the stairs there. I had a visitation from Padre Pio. I recorded pig noises, and that was fun. We couldn't hear them physically, but when we played it back, you heard. My grandfather loved that one.
I remember that being part of the Amityville case too. Wasn't
Really?
it? Oh, it was. They said Jody appeared as like a pig or something.
Oh yeah, I did know that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, toy pig or something, wasn't it? Stuffed pig?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't.
Are pigs like common in paranormal situations? I don't know.
It goes back to the Bible.
Right.
The first time the demons were cast out of humans, they were put into pigs.
Well, that was the story of Jesus casting Legion out, one man and into a bunch of pigs, which went and drowned themselves.
Yeah.
The reality is, remember also that there was a Jewish prohibition against eating pig. It's an unclean animal. So it goes also back to that. But these things always manifest according to your cultural beliefs. They're not per se going to be pigs. No.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. And actually, it's funny you say that, because I say that all the time. Like, what you experience outside of, I guess, whatever your reality is, also is impacted by what your reality actually is, like what your cultural beliefs and such are.
We shape the phenomena. The phenomena is reactive to us.
Right. Well, it's not going to be believable if it's in a different culture. You know what I mean? Like,
I've always kind of had a theory, like, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to possibly test this theory. Not that it would be simple by any means, but I've always kind of had a hypothesis, like, what if what you believe in life is what you experience in death? So, like, for example, where I'm a Christian, if I were to die, I would see heaven or hell because that's what I believed in life. But as a Muslim, what if they see what they're promised in their religion when they pass, you know?
In my experience, there is no hell. And yeah, all right, I just alienated a whole bunch of people. But you can create your own hell. So you can be so black of soul, so afraid of the light that you will hide from it. Or, and this is heartbreaking, but I've had to deal with it a couple of times, someone will commit suicide, and when they are still there, they realize, wait a minute, that didn't stop me from suffering. Now I can't pass over because I'm going to go to hell for killing myself. But they don't. It takes empathy and compassion to talk to them, to help them to pass over, and they're going to be fine when they pass over. The hell is one of their own making. It's here.
That makes so much sense too.
And honestly, if you study the history of demons and so forth, let's just go with Christian for the moment. But if you study those, you're looking at ancient Sumerian and Babylonian gods that were demonized, as well as many others. But that's where it started. You know, with the Babylonian exile of the Hebrews, the slavery of the Hebrews in Babylon, they brought back those gods as something evil. And over time, our views on these things has adapted and changed. Even Satan originally was Ha-Satan, and it wasn't an individual, it was a spiritual prosecutor 2,500 years ago. Even in Isaiah and the book of Job, he is still a prince of heaven. Now he's an individual, but he's a prince of heaven, and he gets God's permission to test your faith. Even in the New Testament, when Jesus is wandering in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, one could look at that and see the devil, Satan, as someone who is there to test Jesus's faith before he enters Jerusalem. Now, I have also studied this around the world, and I can tell you that things like the jinn of the Middle East is not a demon. It's a fire spirit, but it exists for them. And it will also exist, unfortunately, for returning soldiers who believe that they've got that attachment, which is interesting. So, and a case in Australia where an Indonesian family had lived there. They'd summoned up an entity to protect their land. And when they moved, they didn't close that out. And there was an white Australian family that moved in there, and they were being troubled by that entity. To me, these are like poltergeists. They're thought forms. They are real spirits. They are truly deadly, but they are created through our energy. They don't have the wisdom of the ages. They're reactive to our fears, our perceptions. They're shaped by us, and they have limited intelligence through us.
I've actually, I've always kind of said similar to what you're saying, but like basically that right there is the whole reason we have free will, because we wouldn't need free will if there was no other choice. Exactly. That kind of defeats the purpose of having a choice if you can only have one choice.
Well, what good is existence if that were the case? What's the purpose of existence?
Without chaos, you would never know peace. Without happiness or without sadness, you'd never know happiness. Without pain, you'd never know healing.
Yeah, and without death, you couldn't appreciate life. If you lived always, why would you ever need to have compassion for another soul? They're going to be there forever anyway. What does it matter today?
Who cares?
Yeah, I just had a conversation with Carter, one of the producers on the film we just got done finished filming this past weekend, about how death taught me about life and life taught me about death.
Yes. It's all about loving in the moment, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So you better take advantage of it. The only reason we're here is to become closer to God. And what does that really mean? Now, I'm not a Christian, but I still go back to the Sermon on the Mount where Jesus says, pray like this, our Father who art in heaven. He didn't say, memorize these pretty magic words. He said, pray like this. He said, ask for your daily needs, and then promise to be more like God. You'll forgive others as God forgives you. And then ask to be the tool God needs you to become to complete God's plan. But if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to give up your free will, then you may be going down the wrong path.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the forgiveness piece too, because I actually, so little bit about my family history. Rebel already knows this. I have a cousin who she's currently incarcerated. For she was like an accessory to murder, but like we've talked about this and she's done her time, and she's getting ready, I think, to be released. But we haven't spoken in probably 12, 13 years, up until this year. And then outside of that, I haven't seen her in over 20 years. And all of a sudden I woke up one day and I had like a revelation after Rebel and I had just talked about the fact that I was like, I don't know that I'd ever talked to her. I just don't know. But I woke up one day and literally the first thought in my head was like, if I can't offer forgiveness for something she did not do to me, first of all, although she did, like, my mom had a really hard time with it. My mom is gone. But if I can't forgive her for having that domino effect in our family dynamic, like, who am I to ask for forgiveness from other people if I can't offer forgiveness myself? And I had this interesting conversation with my uncle afterwards, and because I wanted him to know that I was talking to her, because it's a very sensitive subject in my family. And he very, very adamantly says, I'll never speak to her again. And I brought up that point and he kind of stopped for a second, because this is almost like the second or third time in my entire life I've had these like dynamic moments with him where I've been able to have these big bold points. And I said that and he just kind of looked at me, and it took him a second, and he just kind of like changed the subject. But it is that, like, if we can't offer forgiveness, who are we to ask for it? And I love that you touched on that, because that's such a core human, like, I don't even want to say an emotion, but like that's something that we can give so freely, but it is a choice.
Well, also the thing about you should forgive and you should let go of anger, because number one, your anger isn't going to affect somebody else.
Yeah, it only affects you.
It's only hurting you.
Yeah.
But forgiveness is something you can only give if they are willing to accept it.
Right.
If they're not willing to accept their own responsibilities and what they have done, then it really doesn't mean anything.
Right.
That you forgive them.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd like to point out, my understanding of karma is a little bit different, I think. And it's not, you do good, good's going to happen to you, you do bad, etc. No, it's the connections you make that will either lift you up or pull you down. They're the connections in life that pull you back to earth. And you should be very careful. Even if you forgive her, you need to make sure she's ready to be allowed back into your life. She may not be. Don't know her situation. I have had people hurt me, steal from me, and then show contrition, and I've allowed them back into my life because I knew that was sincere. Somebody who was using drugs and then got clean. Of course I'm going to forgive them. I know what that's like. I'm a recovering alcoholic, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I've had people hurt me so badly, and I know they're not contrite, and I'm certainly not going to give them another opportunity, and that includes family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time, how
All
like
the time.
at this point I've pretty much cut most of mine off. I think I have like a couple of my aunts and my grandmother that I still speak to, but the rest of them I don't bother with most of the time. And a lot of them only started coming back now because I'm making it somewhere and they think I'm more important than I am. They're like, oh, you're doing movies. Oh, you're doing this podcast. Oh, you're hanging out with famous people. Yeah. Let's get to know you again. Let's talk, cuz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, No,
Yeah.
on my mother's side of the family, I don't talk to anybody anymore, really. I've got one cousin I'm Facebook friends with, and that's it.
Hmm.
The rest, no. Now, my father's side of the family is different. We didn't know that family existed until 2 years ago. Right after my dad
Oh, wow.
died, we discovered he had an entire family, 3 brothers and everything else that he didn't even know existed.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
I have an entire family in Australia, Canada, England, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them.
And he didn't know they existed either. He went his whole life and just didn't have that family.
Yep.
Oh, that's so
The
sad for
heartbreak.
your father. I'm so sorry.
I know. I talk to one of his brothers every single day.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could be there to kind of like bridge that gap for him as well. Like, even though he's not here to experience it for himself, like I'm glad that you could be there to kind of bridge that.
You don't know if he's here or not. Neither do
That's
I.
true. That's true. We don't know.
I get visited enough by others. He hasn't. Well, I think he was here once, right after he died. I mean, days
Yeah.
after he died.
Mhm.
But other than that, no.
Have you guys noticed how like since like the home DNA kits for like ancestry and stuff started coming out,
Mhm.
how many stories we're hearing about now where people are finding out they're like siblings or cousins
Oh,
after
Oh.
X amount? Like, what would you do if you were married to somebody for say 3 decades, had multiple kids and grandkids, and then woke up one day and realized you were siblings? What do you do at that point?
Oh my gosh.
It depends on how much I loved them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
I don't
you
know what I
can't.
would do in that situation.
What are you gonna be like? Oh, that's not your daddy. That's your uncle daddy now. So we can't be together anymore. But that's still daddy. But now he's uncle. But now, yeah.
It's
No,
so
that's something you
complicated.
keep under wraps and you don't tell anybody else.
Exactly. You never
Right.
that never happened.
Exactly.
And then I feel like I would be like, that never happened, but we have to get divorced. Like, we cannot be together. Like, 'cause this
I
is
mean,
way weird now.
I don't know,
but
if you're
after
50 years
so many
old and
years.
you've already gone through menopause, there's no danger of any
True.
genetic problems. You know, at that point,
Maybe-
what the hell? You know, you've been
Maybe
together
just stay
forever.
together. Yeah.
Exactly.
What's the difference? Yeah.
That's like the
That's
one
true.
lady. The one lady found out that she was like married to her cousin. She's like, okay, well, I guess he's just gonna be my husband then.
Well, let's be a little bit realistic about it. If you go back only 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents alone, let alone all of their
Mhm.
siblings and all of their descendants. We're all related.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Especially
Yeah.
if you do believe in the theory of creation, then we would have all started from the same 2 people.
Exactly. And actually, scientifically speaking, it turns out there was an Eve of a sort. There was one woman who seems to, at that point, only her descendants were the ones that actually survived.
Yeah. We all descend from the same woman in Africa or something like that.
Yeah, the same mitochondrial DNA.
Yep. And
Yeah,
mitochondrial
because
DNA is the only one that survives.
or no, not Moses. Noah was a descendant of that line.
And he was getting it on with his
Everyone
own daughter, so, you know.
I mean,
So,
back
you know.
then, what choice did they have? We didn't have different families technically until the Tower of Babel.
And I mean, even if you look at like Egypt, the pharaohs and so forth, and well, any royalty throughout history, they inbred because that's how they protected their
That's
wealth.
how they kept
Their
their
royal
royal
blood, yeah.
line. That's how they kept the
Yeah.
line royal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which is
insane.
interesting.
It's
say
insane to
the
see where
least.
we started from as a society way back when like 9-year-olds were getting married to 70-year-olds.
Oh,
Yeah.
Compared to where we're at now, where so many of those things that were welcomed back then are no longer allowed today.
I was thinking about that. Actually, I was in the shower earlier and I was thinking about my daughter. She's 12. She'll be 13 next year. And
Juliet's
if I'd had her in the 1200s, 1300s, like if we had lived back then, she'd be married.
Mhm.
Like she would be married and trying to bear children. And I'm like, I could not imagine that for her, like sweet little developing brain. And I
mean, back in ancient Greece, she would have been married for like 3 or 4 years by the time she turned 12 and had probably 4 kids by then.
Well, in the
Pop one out,
1800s,
pop one in.
Well, that all depends on her developmentalness, like the development of her body and such.
but childhood didn't even exist until the early 1800s in most cultures.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not something that they indulged in. They grew up working and
Immediately. Yeah.
interacting, and they were ready to go.
Yeah. It's
And
just
now we
amazing to me.
infantilize our kids into their 20s and sometimes 30s.
This is the age of offending everyone with everything. Like, you cannot say a single word these days without offending somebody somewhere.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the things I said offended somebody tonight.
I'm
I don't-
sure it will. But we're thriving in chaos for a reason. So we're not going to play the censor game because we have freedom of speech for a reason. We're going to use it. So there's that.
And in that same sense, everyone is entitled to their opinion, even us.
Exactly. If you expect me to respect your opinion, then you're going to hear mine too.
Yeah.
The thing I have a problem with, though, is when they say, tell your truth. No, there is a truth.
Yeah.
You can have an opinion, that's fine. And you can have an opinion about the truth. But there's still an arbitrary truth to
Yes.
things.
That's why they say there's three sides to everything.
Yep.
Yours, mine, and the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah, because my perception of the truth might be different than your perception of the truth. Doesn't make either one of them any less true, but it is not the core truth.
And
There
let's
are
not
elements
forget
of
how
that
the game
truth
of
in the middle.
telephone works.
That's true
But-
too.
I tell
I
you
mean-
this, and by the time it gets to the last person at the line, it doesn't resemble anything like what you started with.
But we have to also be careful because, for just an extreme example, if Joe Blow goes out on the street and shoots Michael Smith, Joe Blow did shoot Michael Smith. There's the truth. You
That
can
is true,
spin
yeah.
it. You can do a lot of things with it. You can even deny it. But the truth is, he did shoot him.
Right.
And that's where I'm having a problem with, trying to be too understanding of everybody's viewpoints.
Yeah.
If you believe leeches are going to cure your illness, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Leeches are great if you want to increase blood flow to a severed limb that has just
Yeah.
been reattached. That's great. But for much else, not really.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't suck poison out of your blood and filter it for you.
No.
They're just
No.
drinking it to get full.
To get fat. That's what they do.
Kind of
Yeah.
like I've seen some people use maggots to clear dead skin off of wounds and things.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the most sanitary option to me, just saying.
It's weirdly not bad.
Yeah, it's
they
effective,
actually they only eat the dead flesh.
Right.
So in some
Gross,
cultures,
yes.
they don't have another way to do it. That
Well,
is
yeah,
a
I can
good way.
understand that. I just couldn't imagine laying there,
Oh.
feeling
no.
them eating your flesh.
No, I would. Well, remember, they're only eating the dead flesh, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. I don't know.
Sure,
I
you might not
wouldn't
even feel
do
it.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll just die. That's okay.
Same.
No
Yeah.
thanks. I'll just die.
Yeah.
If that's my only option, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Right?
What a great run, guys.
So, some nice clean maggots. No.
Yeah. No. I'm okay, actually. And it's it don't even let the decay kill me. You can just kill me right now. It's not gonna get better. Just call it a day.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
want me to sign
that's kind
something?
of how I go too.
Yeah.
But I'm also that person that sees a spider and is willing to burn the house down because of it.
Well, I try to point out that dying can be hard, but death is easy. Death
Oh yeah, it's
is
absolutely,
a coming
peaceful.
home party. It's a party for the person who's passing over. It's just
Right.
hard for us because it's a bon voyage party.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
the
those of us
hardest
that are
part of
left
life
behind.
is living it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when my grandmother went, I was the one that was with her that day, just the two of us, and we were, listening to her music and singing. It was a great day. It really was. And her Alzheimer's was so bad, but she could still sing. And
Love that.
halfway through the afternoon, I was like, wow, there are a lot of spirits in here today. And I said to my grandmother, Graham, can you feel the spirits? And of course, she didn't know what I was talking about. But I knew this was the day, so I stayed
Yeah.
with her. And just when she died, my iPad, which was at 35% power, went to zero immediately. Not within 5 seconds or anything, not even in 2 seconds. It just went boop, gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I looked and she was gone. And I said, Graham, you okay? And I got this high pitched whine in my right ear. And I was like, okay, Graham, okay. Just want to make sure you're okay.
Oh.
And she's come back many times. Well, I shouldn't say many, but she's come back about a little more than half a dozen times. Matter of fact, she was with me today trying to help me with my own abilities. I'm working on a couple of cases, and I don't normally like to use my abilities that way remotely. And I don't like electronic media for my abilities. I like to be hands-on. But I was trying to do it, and I could pick up something immediately. Just like yesterday, I was working on a serial killer case, and I had an immediate reaction. I knew exactly which one it was, and I turned out to be correct. Fortunately or unfortunately, probably unfortunately, the guy's dead, so there's not going to be any closure. But yeah, it was him.
That's awful. I hate when there's no closure in a case like that.
Yeah.
Especially because everybody who's left behind, you want justice for someone
Well,
who has done
there-
something
we're-
so heinous.
The people who are actually working on the case are still trying to get the police to reopen it, even though the man they blamed for the death is dead as well.
Yeah.
And the victims are all gone.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of what they do. Like they just find someone to blame and just let it go. They don't like even if they find out years later they were wrong, they're like, who cares? They're dead. This guy's dead. That one's dead. It doesn't matter now. The victims know what they know.
It's a hard job. They do make mistakes, and sometimes they just go with what seems easiest and most likely. But
Yeah.
let's be honest, doctors do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Paranormal investigators do the same thing. And I'm more like, I like the way the federal aviation inspectors work. They will not say, like, if they find a plane that has crashed and flight 101 has crashed, and they find the debris of a plane that went down right where they expected flight 101 to go, they will not say flight 101 has been found. They will say, we have found debris that appears to be a plane. They will not say flight 101 because there's still a chance that another plane crashed that they don't even know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and I'm trying to think of how I can work that into the paranormal world. The problem with that is it is so subjective, and it's much harder.
Yeah. Because unless you have like solid proof, it's hard to say definitively one way or the other. So but you also don't want to overpromise and underdeliver almost.
Yeah.
And
When-
even when you
very
do have proof, there's so many ways to fake it now with Photoshop and photo editing and video editing. It's hard to actually get people to say, okay, it's on video, it's concrete evidence now.
I don't
Right.
trust any of that stuff at all.
Right.
And
Yeah.
plus, people don't even understand what they're using. They're using these Ring cameras and other digital stuff, or cat toys, or SLS, and all of that can be easily faked by accident. A Ring camera, for instance, goes at such a slow rate that an insect in flight going through light will look like an undulating white line going across the entire screen. You're like, oh my God, look at that. It's like, yeah, okay. You caught a fly or a moth
Right,
or
exactly.
whatever.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were the
Most
chances
beautiful thing I've
one
ever
would be
seen.
flying around that lamp?
Exactly. That always cracks me up too. Or when like people hear things and it's like a bird hitting a window and they're like, I heard a noise. Like, yeah, birds
Oh.
are dumb.
The funniest one I saw the other day was a YouTube video, and they were trying to make it look like they had a bunch of cryptids caught on camera. And one of them that they were like, what the hell is this? One of them was like, a manatee in the water. One of them was like a water buffalo under the water going, because it was like horns going through the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, it's a water buffalo. It's not that serious.
Kind of
And
what
that
they
one
do.
over there is just a manatee, but you can't let it, like, had its head buried in seaweed
Yeah.
or like whatever in the swamp, so you couldn't see its head, so all you saw was its tail. I'm like, it's literally a manatee.
Well, you
Yeah.
know that's where mermaids came from. Is they're just manatees that look like women from the the middle of them. Because if they're laying with belly up, they look like half naked women with tails.
Especially to a sailor who's been on this ocean for a long, long time.
With just other guys, yeah, they're gonna be
That's
like, "Oh my
probably why
god,
they
there's
die
a
from the
lady."
siren song, because they just fall in the water and get ripped up in the boat propeller.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have propellers at the time, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my kids all the time. Mermaids are real, and I'm like, mermaids are not real, guys. Like, it's a manatee, but also, sure, mermaids are real.
Did you see that documentary several years ago on Discovery where they talked about the mermaids as though they were absolutely real? And not once do they make it clear that this is a fake documentary. That really upset me that Discovery would put that on that way.
Oh, have you
think
seen the
so.
shark documentaries they come up with for the megalodon and stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen the megalodon one.
No. What? Is
Yeah.
they're saying it's still alive?
Like, it's real, yeah. And then they're like, but then they also like they say like this is not a real documentary.
Yeah,
It's
they
just like
didn't do that with
speculative.
mermaid. Yeah, they didn't
Oh,
do that.
what about the mermaids? Did they have a shot where it was like a circular window and then it's like this like face and then she like puts her hand up and then swims away?
Yeah, I think so. And then
Okay,
they
yeah,
did the
then I
whole-
saw it, yeah.
the sea monkey hypothesis, but then they brought on these fake these actors playing doctors and everything,
Yeah.
and it was all fake. But if you didn't look up IMDb, you wouldn't know that because they didn't announce it anywhere, and
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah, the megalodon one at the very end, I think they say that it's not real. It's none of it's proven scientific fact. It's like speculation.
Yeah, I was gonna say they kind of had to do that because everybody was calling them out like this
I
shit's
bet
not
they
real.
got in trouble for the mermaids.
Yeah.
I
That's
bet
just
you.
wrong, though. I mean, if you're a
It is.
channel that's supposed to be about teaching, you shouldn't be putting crap like
Yeah.
that on.
Right.
A lot of it's all turned into like entertainment, and that's the problem. Is like
They're
you're
all
here to be an
mockumentaries
education.
now, not
Yeah,
documentaries.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're here to
well-
be like telling us the truth and uncovering things.
That's true also of the paranormal
That's
television.
so true. The paranormal.
That stuff is ridiculous,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I shouldn't make generalizations, but it feels like half of the people that are out there today think that because they watched Ghost Adventures, they're now capable of
Oh yeah.
being investigators. That's like watching Grey's Anatomy and thinking you can perform surgery.
I'm a
for
doctor.
God's sake.
I'm a doctor.
Well-
I learned it on TV.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
we went to Salem in June of this past year. Rebel
Oh,
and I and
Love it there.
our friend Ghost Professor Christina. So we all went and we did this really cool like ghost witch tour. You go through the history and stuff. They did, our I hope she wasn't a ghost. She looked very real. Our tour guide was amazing, but she was telling this one story, and we have Rebel with us who also has abilities. I don't know if you remember
Alright.
that from our last one. But we have Rebel with us, and she's telling these stories, and there's one part where we're standing in between two buildings, the lady in the blue dress, and
Sarah.
I think Sarah, and I think Ghost Adventures was there. Ghost Adventures had done an investigation in that building, and actually got the name of the young woman. But as she's talking about her, the light in the alley goes out, and so like if you're a skeptic, like I'm borderline skeptic, but I also know this stuff is very real. It's just like which part of it is real. You know what I mean? Like that could have just been for show. But the
Of
light went
course.
out. And she reacted very naturally, so I have a feeling it was very natural. She didn't seem like she was probably that good of an actress. But we're standing there, and then she tells the story, and then right at the end, this one over here, I don't know if it's the same on everybody's computer. But this one over here, Rebel, she was like, oh, this, and then she's like telling her about like where the woman was standing, like as she's telling us the story and all this other stuff. So it was really cool. I don't know what the
That-
point of that story is. I just really wanted to tell you.
Well, at the end of that, there was another person in the group that had gotten the same. She had gotten a little bit of what I had gotten. I had just gotten more in depth, and then the lady Sarah, the ghost, our tour guide was like, "Yeah, we only know about Sarah. We don't know about anybody else. We think this is what happened." And at the end of the tour, I was like, "Well, she wants you to know this is what actually happened, and this is who actually killed this person,
Yeah.
and this is
the guy's
how, and
name.
this is why." And
Yep.
and then we got to Allison's house from Hocus Pocus, the ropes mansion. And our tour guide was telling us how, this ghost liked to set fires and nobody knew why and blah, blah, blah. So I basically told her at the end that this ghost was starting fires because she didn't want to be put on display. She wanted them to leave.
She was very private in life as well.
She was very private in life. She's like, if I didn't want this shit in life, why would I want it in my death? Would you like if I brought a bunch of strangers to your house every 15 minutes to gawk at you in your pain?
Yep.
And
if you're not treating them with respect, they'll act out if they're that kind of person.
She said that she started the fires when the most people were in the house because she wanted to scare them into staying away. But she stopped when she realized that it was only drawing more attention to her. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and not do anything. And maybe they'll think I moved on and they'll stop bringing people. And then when that didn't work, she reached out to me and was like, look, if you don't tell them this, there's going to be worse problems. I'm like, okay, I got you. Hillary!
So that house in particular has like very strong energy because I like slight abilities, like not nearly as intuitive as other people. But even just like walking up to the house, you can tell like which side of the house everything happened in. And the woman, she I can't remember her name, and I feel so bad. It's not Alice.
Abigail.
Abigail. I was like, I knew it had an A, but I was thinking Allison from the movie.
Yeah.
But Abigail actually she passed in a fire, and to me, that whole side of the house looked orange.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was just me, but like that whole side of the house looked orange.
Like we were basically able to pick out all the hot spots without being told where they were.
Yeah.
Because we were literally standing there like, look, there's something here. And as we were saying that, Hillary's like, oh, and if you look up at the window, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it happened right there. And she's like, yeah, it happened right over here. Like right before I said it, or right after.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun, but like, Abigail was so mad. She was like, look, I have told every one of you people that I know can see me and hear me what I'm trying to tell you, and they just won't get my point across. So if you don't, it's going to get ugly. And I'm like, okay, I got you. It's fine. It's fine. I got you.
I always respect the teams that go in and say, we'd like to ask permission to be here first. And they're not asking the living, because they're the ones that are inviting them in. They're asking the dead. I like to treat the dead with the same respect I treat anybody alive. They're just people. And for the most part, they're either frightened or they're lost or they're desperate for one reason or another. Or maybe they just love somebody so much that they're there to protect them.
Right.
And I've had plenty of those. But I had a case similar to yours, and my grandmother actually had one I'd rather share, because hell, let's be honest, everybody wants to hear about Lorraine Warren. They don't want to hear about me.
We just now realized you exist, Chris.
That's only because I brought her up. I don't look anything like her. I'm told I look like my grandfather. Damn it.
I don't know. I wish it's one of those situations. I wish I knew more about your grandparents to be able to have usually I can tell when somebody is looks like someone even a little bit. I can usually tell, but I don't know enough about your grandparents outside of
If you saw the gray under my eye, that's my grandfather right there.
If you take the glasses off, I can see it in the pictures for sure. Actually,
you probably look like your grandfather, so you act like your grandmother, because that seems to be the way it goes.
That's how I am.
You look like one, you act like the other.
I am very much far more like my grandmother than I am like my grandfather. Yeah. I can be as stubborn as him, though. That's not fair.
Stubbornness is
my grandmother was
human
stubborn.
nature.
My grandmother was so stubborn in a beautiful way. Here's a cute story. every Sunday we would get together for, family dinner with the cousins and everyone else. And it didn't matter where we were. My grandmother would take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half to say goodbye. And my grandfather would be like, come on, Lorraine, we got to get going. Okay, dear. And then for another 45 minutes, she would just keep saying goodbye. She did not care. She could okay dear him for hours.
That's so funny.
Oh.
So it's you say that, and I actually think that's in one of the Conjuring movies.
Really?
I think it's the first one where they're giving a presentation and they go to leave and she's chatting with someone, I think. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Let's
it
go,
was
Lorraine."
it was when
That was common.
it was
Yeah.
when the main character, Caroline, I think her name was in the movie, the mom was
Mhm.
like, please help me,
Yes.
please help
Yes.
me.
And she's just talking to her
And
Ed's
he's like,
"Let's
come
go."
on, no, come on, no, let's
Yep.
And I
go.
feel like that's a very common thing that happens in Rebels Frozen. I think that's a very common thing that happens. I'm sorry, that people like if you get like little tidbits from other people. Oh, if you get little
She's coming
tidbits
back.
from other people. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But anyways, any interviews you hear about Lorraine, I feel like that's what you hear is like she's like this very kind, friendly person. You come off the very same way, and I just think that that's so sweet.
Well,
But
you got to understand, you could go to the grocery store with her just to get eggs, and it took an hour and a half because she would talk to everybody. And
Yeah.
they remember because when all of this hoopla came out again, with the house being sold and everything, and
Mhm.
I was getting hammered by people. Why did you do this? And what's going on? And I got so tired of having to individually say something. So I went and I made a post online.
Mhm.
All of these people reached out from Monroe, Connecticut, talking about their memories of my grandmother and how she would stop by the flower shop in ShopRite every time she was in there to see this lady, and she'd stop at the bakery and do the same thing. It's like, yeah, that's my grandmother every
Yeah.
time.
That was Rebel's gone again. But that was my first question when all of this stuff happened. When they took Annabelle on tour, my first question was, "Can we talk to Chris about this? Because I do not agree with Annabelle being on tour."
Oh,
And then it was, they were taking her out and taking her all these places. There were duplicates of her being made and
yeah.
all of it. And then when Dan died, and I was like, "Oh my God, we got to talk to Chris." And then they, not sold the house, but then they leased the house to Matt Rife, and it's
No,
just
they
one of those
sold the
things.
house.
Oh, I thought
They
they leased it
sold the
too.
house. Yeah, I wish
But
they had. I mean, it disgusts me that my grandmother's home, which she designed, is going to be turned
mhm.
into a tourist attraction. You
Well,
know,
Yeah, like I
what
don't
ma
even know how that happened. Like,
yeah.
because
Well,
my mother and
somebody
her husband want to be rich and famous, and
yeah,
they're working
yeah,
on this dramatic series based on their characters. All
yeah.
this is a way of pushing them forward and making them look like they're the next generation of the
But yeah,
Warrens,
that's
which
last time Tony was on our show, he said that they were gonna do a Conjuring series based on
that
him.
must be it, yeah. Yeah,
yeah, and that's ridiculous. He's never worked on a case. It's a house of cards, and it's going to
yeah,
collapse.
yeah, yeah. I,
He lost all of his goodwill when he started doing the Annabelle tour and then sold the house.
mhm,
People see who he is now.
Well,
Yeah,
there for a while he was doing events with the rain, but
he
that
was
was
had her
that was
Alzheimer's for
yeah,
God's.
that's what I was gonna say. Like she was at the end of her life when they were doing it, because like she would walk in the room and I don't think she actually knew what was going on. She
mm-mm.
was just smiling at everyone, but she's like she had
Yeah,
no idea why everyone was there, and then people were lining up to get pictures with her. And I mean, obviously I did too, but I didn't know she was sick like that. But like that
it
was
took a
years
lot out of her.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
Tony would advertise events, and then knowing she wouldn't be there. And people
mhm.
would come and he'd say, "Oh, well, no, she wasn't feeling well today."
Oh,
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
When she was dying, I had been working for quite a long time on the Warren Legacy Foundation. My grandmother and I started it right after the first Conjuring movie came out because we were getting hammered by requests for help all over the world. And I was supposed to be under Nesper. I'd been with Nesper for 40 years. But as soon as I gave my plans to Tony, he said, you should have asked me what I want to do. This is my time now. I don't want you doing anything again until I die. I was like, you've never worked on a case. I am not going to stop helping people just because you want to be famous. You know, that's ridiculous. My life is dedicated toward helping others. That's it.
Right. Well, and so was hers. And I feel like at that point, you kind of kill her legacy if you're not doing it from
Not me. Well, yeah.
No, not you, obviously. You were doing it from
there.
a place of wanting to help people.
Yeah.
And that's
and
what
now look at it. They're going to expose people to the things my grandparents spent their lives protecting people from.
Yeah. But like I said, that was my first question when all that stuff happened. All three things. They took her on tour. Dan passed away. And then settling the house. And I was just like, we really need to talk to Chris.
And that's the worst part about it is they are doing all of that in their names.
And saying that it's what they wanted, which is sick to me.
Anybody who knew them knew that's not what they would have wanted. Because if it was, they would have done it themselves.
Yeah. But Lorraine is on record stating or not Lorraine, maybe it's Ed, but like on record stating not to move Annabelle. Like she doesn't leave that her spot.
Well, no, both of them. She is on tape saying, I won't even look in its eyes. You shouldn't touch it. He put the sign up there, positively do not open.
Right.
Because we know. We had a friend, Father Bill Charbonneau, who, before my grandparents learned how to bind this thing, because they were constantly learning, this is something people don't understand. Don't quote their books back to me because you don't know where they ended up,
Right.
Plus they didn't write their books, and even their videos, you're looking at a snapshot in time. You're not looking at the end result. I often say, would you want to go to a doctor who was learning medicine from a textbook written in 1975?
Exactly.
But
knowledge is living and breathing, and that's what people don't understand. Knowledge is constantly alive.
Exactly. And this is a field of research.
Absolutely.
And they taught me that. They were open-minded. My grandfather didn't like psychology back in the 70s and early 80s, but by the late 80s, yes, he understood the value.
Right.
And
that makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, he used to think witchcraft was Satanism. And it took forever to convince him otherwise with that one. But I did, Yeah. I grew up not listening to rock and roll music because he told me it was the devil's music. Boy, I missed a lot of good stuff.
Luckily, you can find almost all the music everywhere, anytime now. So,
and I promise, I do.
Now.
Yeah.
But
it's so funny.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with all of that. It just, I do know. What they've done is perverted my grandparents' legacy completely. It's all about image and entertainment now, and they have no regard for the public safety. And that's why I have an ethical duty to speak out against this. I'm not doing this to be petty. I let Tony do what he wants for years.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be petty.
No, but now, come on. We're talking about people getting hurt or worse. And what am I supposed to do? Let them make a buck on people suffering? No. I can't do that.
Anybody that watches the show knows that we are against profiting off of pain.
Absolutely.
No, that's sick.
Because spirits are human inherently. Like that's, inside of you is exactly what your essence is. And that is, I wouldn't want to be profited from in that state anyways. And I don't think that anybody would really want to. If you sat back and thought about it, you wouldn't want to be bastardized in that way. And why are we doing that to spirits now?
I mean, obviously there's certain cases where you kind of have no choice but to do it that way, like museums. You have to profit off of those things in order to keep them open,
But you don't have to do it by making the spirit perform.
Exactly.
Right.
It's different to go to like a display and see history, reenacted or whatever versus, or like even Salem when we did like the house tours and things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like even they don't like it, even they
Right.
don't want to be put on tour. So
But
Well,
even so, like with the house tours, it's like you're not going in for the spirits to perform for you. You're going in to see
exactly.
in the way that they lived, and if something happens and they're there, then we'll be privy to that experience. But if not, then there's no expectation. I think that's how it should be. Like there's no expectation. If you're here, we can coexist.
Like
see,
Lizzie
for
Borden.
me, if you're not there to help them, you shouldn't be there. That's my,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
you know,
Finally,
And-
somebody gets it.
and I love the venue that says, "Oh, you can't pass them over." I'm like, please take me to court because I passed over a spirit.
I've done it. I did it to Lizzie Borden. I will admit it proudly. You're welcome. Like
That's
they
what I
were
mean.
literally coming across our screen like release, please, rebel, release, please, rebel.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, guys, watch the master work. But like,
Yeah.
okay, like I said, Salem is different because they're museums. They're not, let's take you on a,
Right. Let's
like, yeah, we
scare
do
up
the
these ghosts and stir them up and try to
we
make them
do the
perform
ghost
for
tour,
us.
but we're not like actively, come on out, guys.
We want to
where
learn
you
about the
at?"
people, and if
We're learning
we
about
want to
who
learn
they
about
were
the
in
people.
life. Whereas like Lizzie Borden only wants to focus on their death and they want to make a buck off of absolutely everything they can. And
Right.
they specifically make you sign waivers saying you will not cross the spirits over. And
What
I'm like,
good is
what are you
that?
gonna do if I do?
I know.
Like,
Wouldn't it be great though if they did? I mean, just think about the court would have to grant the dead rights.
Right.
I
And they
would
just
love
find
to
a way
see
to prove
that.
it.
their rights.
Come
Yeah.
at me, bro. Come at me, because I would love to see you prove that I crossed your ghosts over.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I said it on camera, but they don't know who I am, and they're probably never going to see this anyway unless I tag them in it. But if by some chance they did catch on to me, I would love to see this play out in a court of law.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Miss Miss Phoenix, we're going to have to sue you for property damages because you crossed our spirits over, so it's no longer an active haunt.
Yeah.
But then they have to define, does that spirit have any rights after
Right.
they die? And if they
Exactly.
do have rights, then the other people were holding them in bondage, and that's a problem as
Exactly.
well. But then
Exactly.
the repercussions of that would be so bad they would never bring it to court because
Exactly.
who owns the property, the dead or the living?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Because then if they have rights, then they have rights to their property still. So.
Exactly.
And they've
there's
probably been there
the-
longer than you, so
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the one
Yeah.
ghost was like, please let me go, or I'm going to make them let us go. And I was like, okay, buddy, I got you. It's okay. I'm going to take care of it. Ready? And I did my whole thing, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he
I've-
even
I've
thanked me on the way out to the light. He
Yeah,
was
I
like,
don't know.
we've been trapped here for so many years because of this stuff. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah, I don't agree with doing that and like forcing, because at that point, yeah, you're right. It's basically you keeping in bondage. Like these are now your servants who work for you, and I just it disgusts me when people expect them to perform.
And the
Right.
people seem to forget that your body is just the car you drive.
Yeah,
You're just like them.
exactly. You are no different. You just happen
Exactly.
to be on this physical plane.
Yeah.
All I know is sooner or later, I'm going to join them on the other side, probably sooner rather than later, thanks to my lovely health problems. So I would much rather them be waiting on the other side and happy to receive me because I helped them in my life than to see what they would want to do if I didn't. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And
That's
on
how I
that
feel.
note, our hour has gone by again.
I love
Yes,
talking to Chris.
I love Chris.
You guys are great. I really love spending time with you.
We
Thank
do
you.
Yeah.
too. We're going to have you again because we just love you.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble with all your other guests.
Sorry, we have to kick you to the curb. Chris is coming back another time.
Right?
This is 54 times, guys.
It's just 54. It's fine.
It's an even number. It's okay.
Well, that's my lucky number.
Is it?
No.
Let's hope.
Well, we only got 52 more times to bring you back on.
Well,
Let's
let's
see
make
if we
it
can do it
more
before the end
more
of the
than once a
year.
year then, because I don't think I'm going to make it to the whole 56.
That's fair. That's fair. We will definitely have to have you back on soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time you've taken to spend with us. This has been a gnarly episode of Controversy, so can't wait to see who comes at us for it. I'm ready and waiting.
You know, I do want to reiterate, I'm not speaking for drama. I am not trying to cause a fight with anybody. I am here only to warn the public about what's true, what's not true, and what can be dangerous. And if people are out there purporting to be experts when they are not, they are dangerous. I have cleaned up too many cases from people who may be very well-meaning, who've gone in and said something stupid like, "Oh my God, you've got a demon. I can't help you." No, you know, don't ever do that to a family.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and think about how damaged they were before they reached out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially because it takes a lot to reach out. Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot to reach out, and then to hear, "I can't help you because it's too much."
Mm-hmm.
Find people who will.
Even in an age where crazy is accepted, paranormal people still are like, ghosts are taboo for some reason.
You think it's bad there? I'm in South America.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can only imagine the barriers you have dealing with spirits.
Well, it's the people.
You probably can't even understand half the ones you come across.
No. That's pretty universal. We don't have to worry about language. Matter of fact, I had a case in Colombia where I was talking to the spirit of a girl who died in a strip club of an overdose. I was speaking to her in Spanish, and she was answering me in English. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, it was interesting.
Yeah, I imagine so. I guess language at that point doesn't stop you. Yeah. There's no barrier.
Well, it stops me. I'm not going to be able to speak Swahili or something.
True. I just mean like from the other plane.
Exactly. Yeah.
Language is universal.
It's more universal. Thank you.
Yeah. See, look at us. Same page.
In sync.
See, we just need to add him as our fourth member of the quartet, man. We'll go from the trio to the quartet.
But that means we have to go to Paraguay. What a shame.
Oh no, what a bummer. Golly gee willikers. Oh no.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am going to the greatest Brazilian barbecue in the world, and it's in Paraguay. And they have the best beef. I'm going Sunday for my birthday, and
happy early birthday.
So jealous. Happy birthday too, by the way.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, ridiculously low prices. I think it's under $20. All you can eat sushi and desserts and antipastos and every kind of cut of meat you can imagine. It
sounds delicious.
I know. The worst part is I've had bariatric surgery and I'm on the Ozempic shot. So it's like, I'm not eating, but I'm going to go anyway.
Tiny little bites.
My daughter.
He's going to go in and smell it.
Basically, hey, they're going to
let me gain 20 pounds smelling it.
I'm not going to miss a free meal, regardless of how much I can eat.
Heck no. Tiny little bites.
Exactly. Just
save some for later.
A little bit here and there.
Lick it. Just lick it. It's fine.
Anyway, thank you, girls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Chris. We loved it. And on that note, we out.